bucksportmaine.gov under watch meetings. Couple of reminders / housekeeping. This would be a wonderful time to make sure your electronic devices are on silent. If you are going to speak this evening, I would ask that you come to the podium, state your name and the organization that you are from. We will be giving everyone 3 minutes to speak this evening. As you can tell, we have a lot of folks here, so we want to make sure we keep things moving along. I will also say if after you speak you want to leave, especially given the premium on seats this evening, no harm, no foul. A reminder, this is a workshop. We are not taking any action this evening. So just it's discussions, expectation setting, that kind of thing. Last thing, just a reminder, because there's a lot of new faces here, we have a new sound system here, and as I mentioned a moment ago, this is going out over TV and the internet. The microphones are very sensitive, and I have received the feedback multiple times that if any of you whisper to the person next to you, it will be heard on TV and on the internet. So just a reminder as we move forward.
You're welcome. Yeah.
3 minutes per organization.
That's right, 3 minutes per organization. Yep, I want to be clear. Yep, so we'll allow one person from each organization to speak, and they'll have 3 minutes. And I don't know who's going to be the official timekeeper, but not me. So
Can I have 1 minute?
absolutely.
So I became aware of a very special event yesterday, and so tonight I thought I'd take a minute to recognize that event. And any of you who've known me in the last 10 years, what I do when I recognize an event is I write a poem. So I've written a poem about this event, which I'm going to share with you now, which is called Happy Birthday, Mayor Bissonnette. It has come to our attention that tomorrow is a special day for one of our town councilors who happens to be our mayor. Of course he did not tell us, but it still came to light. And thank you to his lovely wife. We have cookies here tonight. The mayor has a milestone birthday, one that causes some people to worry that the big 5-0 is something to fear. Where is time going in such a hurry? Paul has packed a lot of living into his first 49 years on this earth.
In 364 days.
With kids and jobs and community service, we all know what he is worth. So we wish you the best on this birthday, which is a big one, that's for sure. We are grateful for your service here and look forward to many years more. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
There's
Cupcakes for everyone.
and there's all sorts of things. Yes.
Yes. Did my wife make all of that?
No.
She's capable. When I met her, I was 120 pounds. So it's a lie. It's such a lie. Anyway, thank you. Thank you all. Anyway, we'll call the roll now. George, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Mark Eastman. Here. Councilor Jennifer Tarian.
Here.
Councilor Tracy Hare.
Here.
Mayor Paul Bissonnette.
Here.
Councilor Paul Rabs.
Here.
Councilor Ed Rankin.
Here.
Thank you, George. Next is budget review. We are starting on page 61 this evening with social agencies. And I think what I would do is
The library is under recreation.
Yep.
So when we get to the recreation budget.
Yes. Yep, so I think what I will do is I will go down through the list as listed in our budget, unless there's any concern with that. Okay. Let's see, so as we see in the budget, there was not a request from the American Legion this year.
That's correct.
Yep. Next, we will hear from Home.
Look at that. Good evening. I forgot my paper at work, so it's on my phone. My name is Julie Ream, for those you may remember, and I am a resident of Bucksport, and I'm the program coordinator at Home Incorporated in Orland. Last year, Home provided shelter for 11 individuals who reported Bucksport as their last permanent address. According to the recent shelter study cost put out by Maine Housing Authority in February 2025, It costs on average $102 on a night to shelter a person for one night in an emergency shelter bed. Home's average length of stay in 2024 was 63 days. Multiply that by 11, For each person sheltered, it costs $6,426 per guest. We are asking for $7,000. Home's Goodness Sake Food Pantry provided food boxes to 120 different Bucksport households, feeding 301 individuals. Our soup kitchen provided free lunch to 169 households, and our food rescue line was accessed over 1,500 times by Bucksport residents. Other programs that benefited Bucksport residents include our backpack program that provided 37 backpacks with school supplies. Many of them were from LL Bean. Christmas gift program that provided Christmas presents to 44 Bucksport children. 12 individuals received a free winter coat. 6 households accessed our wood bank for a quart of firewood. 3 people accessed financial assistance through our flexible hardship fund. 28 households received a Thanksgiving food box feeding 83 Bucksport residents. 2 families had children enrolled in our daycare and received a Christmas food box, and 4 households were diverted from homelessness through our diversion program. We greatly appreciate the support of the town of Bucksport and are asking for the $7,000 in support this year to assist us with continuing this much-needed program. And Rosa wanted me to mention Home also employs 11 Bucksport residents, which includes myself, my husband, and my son. That's how important Home is to us. Thank you. Any questions? Because I have answers this year.
Questions for?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. There's
Just
one
loving
seat.
here.
Yeah. So in the interest of transparency, just so that we are aware, the request, as mentioned, was $7,000. And for the council, the recommendation of the town manager is also the $7,000. We have next up the Red Cross.
Good evening. My name is Caroline King. I'm here from the American Red Cross. I serve as the executive director for Northern and Eastern Maine, which covers half of the state of Maine. Unfortunately, I do not call Bucksport home, but I'm happy to be here tonight, and also incredibly happy to report there were no fires in Bucksport during our fiscal year 24, which runs from July to June of 2024. We are proud to have 29 Red Cross volunteers here in Hancock County. We did respond to fires in Aurora and Hancock during that same period. Here in Bucksport, we helped 8 families have working smoke alarms and fire escape plans, and we're excited to participate in just a month or so in the disaster and emergency preparedness workshop that you're going to be having on May 22nd. The Red Cross does an incredible amount of work, primarily through our volunteers, more than 2,000 across Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. We also collected 1,432 pints of blood here in Hancock County at 53 blood drives during that same time period. The Red Cross is asking for $2,500 this year, and we have always been incredibly grateful for your support from the folks in Bucksport. The Red Cross is funded primarily by the generosity of individuals, businesses, and local municipalities across the country. So happy to answer any questions on the Red Cross.
Any questions? Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I clarify one more thing?
Absolutely.
As Mayor Bissonnette said, there's no decisions being made tonight, and no decisions have been made. The initial requests are all included for the council to see. Under manager recommendations, I will tell you what those are. The filter that we used in looking at these is that this is an extremely difficult budget year. School costs comprise 60% of our budget, and at this point, I am not sure what the federal level of funding is going to be for education. But at the end of the day, the town's responsibilities lie with the statutory requirements that we have to meet by law for public safety, trash disposal, and all of the other kind of things that are impacted. These recommendations do not mean that we do not value the services of everyone, or that it will even end up this way, because the council is the one that makes these determinations. But the council and its directions to staff this year were to come in as close to a zero-based budget as it was possible to do. So I didn't want, as you look at this, to think that we'd all lost our minds. That's not what's occurred here. And as I said, these recommendations may be just that. The council will determine how they wish to spend the taxpayers' money. But we were charged with coming in with a budget that was closer to zero-based, and even in doing that, we ended up with a 6.8% increase. So I just wanted to clarify that, because in looking at that, people would say, what is the matter with them? That's what's the matter, is that there are significant fiscal challenges in this environment that I can't predict yet. So my crystal ball is broken.
Thank you for that
Just-
clarification. Yep, nope, great clarification. And as you can see, if I had noticed a moment ago, but apparently I'm getting up there in years, I'm reading from the same list, so you can see what the recommendations are as well as what was asked for. And if you are following along, the next group is Home Health Hospice from EMHS.
Good evening, I'm Erin Kearns. I'm one of the clinical managers with Northern Light, for now Northern Light Home Care and Hospice, serving the office that I work in. Primarily, we serve Hancock County, and which obviously includes Bucksport. I worked there for 19 years. I am a resident of Hancock County. Home care and hospice are two different programs that come into patient homes or facilities, whatever home may be, and provide care. On the home care side, it's often somebody coming home from a hospitalization and they're not able to get out for rehab and therapy and nursing care, and so we're going in the home to do that as long as someone's homebound. And then on the hospice side, we're caring for people and families at the end of life, guiding families on how to care and support their loved one. I understand the predicament, and I so appreciate your comment about that, because I think we're all in these tough times. But I think even allowing us to come here and talk about what it is we do, and that we are community, we are a part of this community, is still important regardless of what the outcomes are. For FY24, our Hancock County office, we serviced 53 home health patients in this service in Bucksport and 9 hospice patients. We're also utilizing telehealth, so to do some more remote monitoring for patients as well. And then you're probably saying, why would you be here? Because aren't you reimbursed by insurance? And yeah, we are reimbursed by insurance, but it doesn't anywhere meet the needs of our cost. And where we are a nonprofit, we do take all patients. So we are taking patients without insurance and serving all patients. And that's ultimately why we're here, and we want to continue to be here. And we will continue to be here regardless, supporting this community. So, any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sure you're all aware, but we received very, very thorough packets. So please don't take our lack of questions as lack of interest, because I can assure you I spent hours today and a couple days ago going through the packet. So, and I'm confident probably others did as well. So it's not lack of interest.
Our packet was 135 pages. I have personally spent 4 hours at my kitchen table going through them repeatedly, so it was yes, I agree.
Yes, very much so. Yep. Next is Down East Community Partners.
Good evening, Kathy Young. I am fairly brand new to Down East Community Partners, so I'm reading the letter along with you. And our request, which seems enormous, and in each community it seems enormous, but we just wanted to present what 5% of the actual service value to your community would be. even as the development director, I wouldn't expect for a minute that most of the communities with the number we give you. But it does show you the scale of the need and of the actual services provided. With most communities, HEAP, which is our fuel assistance, and transportation are your two biggest drivers of value. And then you have a Head Start program here. The future of a lot of these programs that we offer is unclear to everyone. But we also, during this last year, had 12 Bucksport residents employed and 1 serving on our board. So you have as much information now as I do. So happy to answer any questions, but please don't ask me.
The only question I had was if you had heard anything more, and it sounds like you haven't about any of the.
Not any specifics,
okay.
no.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bucksport community concerns. What? All right, thank you. Down East Transportation.
Paul from Down East Transportation is ill. He contacted us earlier today. He always comes to the meeting. This is the 2-day-a-week bus that we have. This is the total cost of the town for that 2-day-a-week service.
Okay. Questions there? All right. Eastern Area Agency on Aging.
Yes, thank you. My name's Christopher Hill. I'm the Communications and Development Director for Eastern Area Agency on Aging. I just want to echo the sentiments that have been brought up. Just being able to come here today and talk about our services that we are able to provide is a benefit. So I try not to assume everybody knows what we are and what we do because it's just not the reality. So our agency serves Penobscot, Piscataquis, Washington, and Hancock counties with a variety of needs for our older community members. These things range from things like nutrition assistance, Meals on Wheels, supplemental food programs, supplemental pet food programs. We have caregiver services. We have Medicare counseling, really basically a wide array of services that are aimed at helping our older community members age in place at home and do so with healthily and engaged as possible. So usually what I like to do for these meetings is kind of break down some of the value that we provided the town in the prior fiscal year. So I believe this worksheet was in the packet, but just wanted to highlight a few numbers, kind of highlighting some of the value that was provided. Kind of the headline here is that Eastern Area Agency on Aging was able to provide a total of $92,000 worth of service to the town. These are things that we take the cost of the service, break it down by unit, and then multiply by the units provided. And we were able to provide that service to 152 residents of Bucksport. Kind of like the main drivers, as the previous person had stated, of need in the community, things like home delivered meals. We were able to deliver over 1,800 home delivered meals. There was a need of supplemental pet food. Nearly 3,900 pet food kits were delivered. A lot of caregiver services, over 200 units of caregiver services for those dealing with family members with long-term health challenges. So quite a bit of need in the community, and we're happy to be able to address those needs. We're thankful for Bucksport's support. This has been Bucksport supported our agency since 2014, and hope to continue to do that. We did have a raised need cost of $1,800 rather than $1,500 last year, and I'm sure everyone's feeling the cost of inflation. So just happy to have any support that you're able to offer, and appreciate being able to come here and talk to you all.
Thank you very much. Questions?
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Next is the Child Care Center. I didn't hear from them last week. But yeah. Okay. Bucksport Health Advisory.
I'm assuming that's us because our name is so long that you can't even fit it on the screen. So
you're right.
I'm Vanessa from Bucksport Bay Healthy Community Coalition. We are a 503c nonprofit located in Bucksport with an office at the DeWitt School. As a coalition and a nonprofit, we serve the communities of Bucksport, Orland, Verona Island, and Prospect. In our capacity, we are a resource hub, a think tank, an umbrella organization for the Bucksport Age and Ability Friendly Committee, and we also have an emergency disaster preparedness subcommittee under the AFC. Currently, we offer the Thrive program, which keeps older adults safely in their homes and communities, And we offer support to other nonprofits in the area, like the Bucksport Area Senior Citizen Center, the Memorial Library, RSU 25, in a variety of different events and capacities. In front of you, I think you have in your packet, your 135-page packet, there's a document entitled Statistics and Accomplishments. I just want to point out a few. One of our major accomplishments this year was signing an MOU with Friends in Action to provide transportation outside of the Bucksport area, inside the Bucksport area, and that is done all through volunteers. And we're also recruiting volunteers in Bucksport to be drivers for that. Another significant opportunity was that we received a Community Connector grant to spearhead the first Mary Jane Bush Emergency Disaster Preparedness Expo. That's going to be held on May 3rd. We've built our BBHCC board with 4 new members, and we are at capacity now. And we've created a Healthy Homes for Older Adults brochure. We've set up a fund for home repairs, and we're also creating an emergency disaster trifold readiness document. We are requesting $20,000 tonight, which is $5,000 less than last year. We hope to continue all these events, meetings, and offer support to the community. It's far less than what everybody is asking for need. We know there's more need than we can get in the money, but we understand that if we don't have at least some money, we may have to shut down programs like Thrive, which serves 70 individuals at the moment. We may have to do something different with Age and Ability Friendly, things like that. In this cost-cutting world that we live in, I have offered to actually cut down my cost and go on hiatus for the summer for 4 months so that the organization can build the funds back up. And that will be based on what funds we get, whether I will return as a contractor or if I would be on a project-by-project basis. But we understand that everything we do is important to the community. I'm less important than the organization, and we will do whatever we need to continue to offer services. Are there any questions that I can answer at this time? Okay, thank you for your time.
Next, senior citizens. Bill.
I had front row seats at one point. I got demoted.
Hi, Bill.
I'm Bill Foster. I think I know you and you know me. I take care of the seniors in Bucksport. So, well, along with the help of Vanessa. So, I don't know if you have any questions. We have activities that we do there. We have lunches. We take trips, courtesy of your nice van you got for us. And that's what we do. And you're going to be old enough to sign up for your AARP card, so you can come on up anytime you want.
Thanks, Bill.
Starting tomorrow. I told my brother that same joke when he turned 50. He also didn't appreciate it.
That's all right.
I'll be there soon, too.
Yeah.
You might have been the second man that mentioned AARP.
You might have.
Well, I noticed they weren't here tonight.
Any questions for Bill or? Bill, and I'm putting you on the spot, so don't be afraid to tell me that I'm putting you on the spot. But do you know approximately how many people or how many senior citizens, whether you can break it down by community or not, that you're serving?
And I got those texts from Jacob the other day, and it's hard to know because the only time we really take attendance of people is if we're going on a trip, so they don't lose anybody. Or if we have their address because we're delivering meals to their home.
That makes sense.
When people come in for activities, we don't ask them where they're from or even, anything like that.
Sure.
And there's days that I'm only there part-time, so there's days that there's activities that happen. Like, for instance, on Tuesdays and Thursdays when there's bridge, I'm not there. Tuesday night is also bingo unless I'm substituting for that. I'm not there. Sunday is our quilt makers. We have homemakers that come and meet on Tuesdays. So there's some days that I'm not there to actually witness the people that are there. But and even the lunch program fluctuates. We've had to have unfortunately gone up to $10 from our $8. So we did lose customers there on the home delivery and the dining in. Mostly we lost them on the mostly on the dining. Home delivery stuck strong. I think because not only do they appreciate the meals, but they appreciate someone coming to visit them.
Sure.
some of you here have delivered the meals to the people during the pandemic, and you know how important that is for those people to have somebody that comes in. The meal is kind of a secondary thing. You know, they could get something from the store cheaper, they could get something from McDonald's cheaper probably, but it's the idea that that's one of their friends is coming to see them. So,
Please.
Do you have a sense how many people you lost with that $4 price hike?
yeah, well, with $2 price tag, but
$2
yeah,
price tag.
we were averaging around 40, and that was the number we were trying to stick to, and now we're averaging 25.
Oh, wow, that's
So, and that, you know, that was a hit. And it may, to not spill the beans or speak out of term, because I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I'm thinking that program may have to change too, because the school we may not be cost effective for them anymore. That's why we had to go up. We partner with RSU 25. They're the ones that pay for the cook and pay for the food. They cook the meals there, but you know, if we aren't cost effective for them anymore, we're going to have to find alternatives to do for food. Because we don't, especially those people. And what's happening with the people that come in to dine, even though they're not ordering the meals, we have the same amount of people that are coming in, but what they're doing now is they're bringing food from home because they want to come to the center for the activities and they want to see their friends when they're there, but they didn't want to pay the $10, so they're bringing a sandwich from home, bringing something from McDonald's. They're coming in and utilizing the center still, they're just not using the meal. And we've always told people that the meal is just something that's offered to them there, just like bingo and O-Poop and all the other games and stuff that we have, the music and everything. Those are activities that are offered at the center. The meal is just a supplement. So we don't ever turn anybody away if they say, I want to come to lunch, but I don't want to buy the meal, but I still want to see my friends. They're welcome to come.
Sure. Thank you, Bill. Any other questions? Great, thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
Next would be WIC, Maine Family Planning.
So this is my first time in front of you, although I know that we have been here before. My name's Tamara Wilson, and I am the WIC Director for Hancock and Washington counties. We currently have 82 participants that we know reside right here in Bucksport. And also we serve the surrounding areas, Orland and those areas. So we do once a month a Bucksport outreach clinic up at the health center to make transportation easier and access to our services easier. I'm just going to dispel a couple myths. Obviously, we are federally funded. I get about $1.6 million in that funding. 1.1 million, I never see it goes straight to the food outlay costs against the use of their EBT cards. So that leaves me about $500,000 for all of my administrative costs. I'm actually not allowed to spend those federal dollars on things like diapers. So I have to get creative, and that's why we come to municipal funding. We get grants. I go to churches, I go to civic organizations. These are the things that we provide that are not covered from the federal grant. This is the short list. Diapers and infant care items, free car seats. We gave out 72 last year in Hancock County. 11 of them lived here in Bucksport. Prenatal vitamins, breastfeeding supplies, infant clothing, comfort care backpacks for foster children, books, toothbrushes and oral hygiene items, produce gleaning program that we do through Healthy Acadia, farmers market program, that is federally funded. We put $12,978 back into local farms last year, including Happytown Farm. Direct referrals to other support services, health screenings, free well water test kits, gas and grocery cards for emergency situations, and postpartum mental health support. WIC is not welfare. We serve two-parent, two-income families, military families, people that just need a little bit of help. It's an honor to do it, and We reached our request because we have a formula of $50 per participant. That hasn't changed in years. We certainly understand everybody's situation, but really appreciate the opportunity to give you a little bit more information about what we do that we don't get money for. So appreciate any questions.
Realize you did car seats.
Yeah, the cost of that, I've got 2 car seat technicians that were trained through the state of Maine. So we can distribute car seats and do safety checks. And sometimes we just had a family that a couple weeks ago, that's the reason they could take their newborn home, because they had a safe car seat. It makes a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Hospice of Hancock County.
Hi, my name is Chris Childs. I'm the volunteer coordinator at Hospice Volunteers of Hancock County. We are a nonprofit volunteer hospice that serves folks all over Hancock County. And the services that we provide are all 100% volunteer provided, right? So that might make you think that we shouldn't have very much for costs, but we do, right? There are just costs. We provide companionship and respite for folks that are going through hospice or they're on palliative care. We have a bunch of other kinds of programs that we've been working on. We offer Reiki for folks. We have pet therapy program that we're really excited about getting up and running for those folks that are on hospice or palliative care. We help people tell their stories. We do a lot of education in the communities, right? And we're talking about working with RSU 25 Adult Ed to get a program up and running for training volunteers here. I guess in the old days, there was a big core of volunteers here in Bucksport, and over the years through the pandemic, that has kind of withered, but we're hoping to rebuild that. And we have a really robust, durable medical equipment closet program where we lend out stuff to the folks that need it, and we accept donations from anybody that has one, and we make sure that those things don't end up in a landfill, and they end up, we save folks hundreds of dollars by doing that. We are also looking to partner with the Jed Prouty Center here, and we're looking to get in with a different sort of assisted living facilities and stuff so that we can provide, again, that companionship and respite for the folks that are going through the end of life. You have any questions?
No.
All right.
Thank you. Doing very well, folks. Let's see, Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry.
I'm gonna do this in 2 minutes.
All right, there you go.
I think. So, hello everybody. My name is Max Dietschy. I'm a volunteer at Loaves and Fishes Food Pantry. We're down the pike in Ellsworth. As you know, everything is 18 miles from Bucksport.
That's right.
And we are no exception. Folks, times are tough out there. We are serving 2,036 families who in 2024 made 18,000 shopping trips to the pantry. 78 of those families reside here in Bucksport, and they have a little over 208 members. So our direct costs for the food distributed in those shopping visits to Bucksport residents was a little over $6,000. So in that context, we're asking you to chip in 10 cents on the dollar. Loaves and Fishes does not receive federal funding or state funding. It's community funded. Some grants, but mostly we survive on small donations from individuals and businesses. In the spirit of cutting costs, we have 2 part-time employees. All the rest of the work is done by volunteers, including our all-volunteer board. And I think that's our story so far. Our biggest outlay is food purchases, frankly, and so as we go out to the different municipalities, we ask them to chip in for food costs. About 5% of our total funding comes from the towns. And we do have shoppers from every town in Hancock County for the first time ever. That's our story. Invite you to visit anytime. It's really great to see the market when it's open. Questions, comments, objections?
Could you let us know exactly what days the market's open?
We are open 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, 9:30 to 12:30, and Wednesday evenings. About 80% of our clients have at least one full-time employed member, so we have an evening hour for people who can't get there during the workday.
Thank you.
That was like 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
You did wonderful. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for pointing us out.
Absolutely. Life Flight. Families First Community Center.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Solaris, and I'm representing Families First Community Center located in Ellsworth. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering homeless families with children by providing safe, transitional housing, education, and the support they need to achieve self-sufficiency. Last year, FFC assisted 250 families residing in Hancock County, with those numbers projected to increase to 500 families throughout Hancock County in 2025. In 2024, we assisted 3 families in Bucksport, and this year already we have assisted 3 families residing in the Bucksport area. At the moment, we are seeking to raise $1,300 to help fund general operations, on-site programming, outreach services, and educational programming for our residents. This also includes critical repairs to our facility or weekly transportation for families to access job training and childcare. This amount will directly impact families working to rebuild their lives and create a stable future. Your support would make a tangible difference in the lives of the families we service. We would be honored to recognize the town of Bucksport's generosity. Thank you very much for considering our request and your continued support for families in need. And please feel free to ask me any questions, as it would be my pleasure to provide you with additional information.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you as well. Hancock County Habitat for Humanity. Oh, yeah. I'll be okay. The Historical Society.
Hi.
Hi.
I feel very unprepared. This is my first experience with this, so I apologize. Elizabeth LaForge from the Bucksport Historical Society. We have requested $23,000. We would like to amend that to $17,000, as we've had a couple of additional estimates on our electrical. What's new this year is we are doing a complete redo of the building, and we have asked the Rosens for permission to do a historical exhibit in their windows if they don't have someone to rent the building, so that won't remain empty. We are also working with the cruise line. They have 14 days they will be here. They requested us to be open. Those days and hours are different than our normal hours. There's 6 of them that are on Sunday, and the rest are on a Saturday morning, and we're normally open in the afternoon. So coverage would have to be different. That would also give us an additional 5 weeks that we'd be open. So those are things that we are working on right now. If you have any other questions, I don't have statistics on how many people we have through, or
Are the heat pumps figured into that number that you?
Yes, yeah. And that, as you all know, people probably, not everybody here would know or watching, but those were to help with the preservation of the documents and artifacts because of the high level of humidity in the building. And because the heat pumps were suggested, they couldn't be done without an electrical upgrade because there's only a 60 amp entrance in the building, so. No more questions? Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Friends in Action. I think they might.
Good evening, I'm John Lindquist, I'm Executive Director of Friends in Action. For those of us who are not familiar with us, we have two major focuses. One is free services to seniors and residents of Hancock County who are living with disabilities. On the services side, the principal activity is transportation. And we give people rides to medical appointments, to social appointments. We believe that fighting isolation is truly very important. We'll deliver food, deliver prepared meals, box meals for Eastern Area Agency on Aging, prescriptions, and so on. Recently, and as was mentioned earlier, we recently have teamed up with the Bucksport Bay Healthy Community Coalition to do better with the transportation services provided here in Bucksport and the immediate surrounding area. And it's working quite well. We've already gotten 7 volunteers and have prospect of being able to provide a lot more rides than we have previously. The whole program costs about $168,000 a year, and we're asking for $1,500 to help defray the administrative costs. In this MOU, we're providing the software, doing the reservation management, keeping track of the assignment of volunteers, doing their background checks and all the other administrative stuff. And that's what we intend to use those funds for, if you can see a way clear to give them to us. If you can't, we understand, and we will do the best we can not to have that adversely impact the level of rides that we get. It will, it has an impact on capacity because you can't answer the phone. If you don't answer the phone, you can't get the reservation, so on and so forth. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. The Gary Owens House.
Hi there. My name's Lisa Wardwell, and I'm on the board of the Gary Owen House. We are a nonprofit transitional homeless shelter for men, veterans. And what we do is we provide free housing for veterans for up to 6 months so that they can get back on their feet and get their own home. We set them up with a caseworker at the TOGAS so that they have somebody working with them to get them back into their own rhythm of life. We have 6 gentlemen in the home today. One of them has been there for 2 years because he had some medical problems. So he's been there for almost 2 years. And he's finally getting his own place probably next week. So we're super excited about that. We are 100% donation based. We don't take any money from the federal government or the state. The cost per year for the house is creeping up on $25,000. We ask for $300 this year just to help offset the cost. We provide all the food for the veterans, all the lights, heat, everything. We even include rides to Togus if they need it. We are in Searsmont. I'm from Augusta, so I have to really pay attention to Searsmont, not Searsport. Our 8-member board is all volunteers. None of us take any money for this. And we have served, since inception, we have served over 70 veterans. And thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. I didn't know it was your birthday, but I'm a caterer by trade, so I just brought cupcakes.
Oh, wonderful.
And I also have pamphlets, if you'd like a pamphlet, because we just had new ones done. Any questions?
Please.
Out of those numbers, how many of those veterans are from Bucksport, or their homelessness began in Bucksport?
I can't answer that. Mostly because of HIPAA. I'm not allowed to tell you anything about them. So, but we take veterans from anywhere. If they want to come here to Searsport, Searsmont, if they want to come here, we will bring them. We will go to Togus and get them and bring them to the house. So, okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. I was gonna say, we've got bonus cupcakes and we've got apparently stuff for my birthday underneath. So yeah, if we want to take the covers off, and please don't be shy if anybody's a little hungry.
Have a snack.
Yep, please do.
They're setting the bar kind of high for budget meetings, guys.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Not sure we'll have cupcakes every year.
That's right, yep. There's a growing young man back there that I know is being polite and would love to have a sweet treat. And I'm inviting you as the birthday boy to help yourself. Okay.
You'll be the first one to open it up. I'm scared.
Yep. Anyway, even while we're talking, please. Yep.
I just thought it would be unprofessional to have 4 of them lined up in front of me.
It would be.
That's what's going through my head.
Yep. Anyway, all right, thank you. Let's see, Lake Stewards of Maine.
Hi there.
Hello.
All right. My name's Tristan Tabor. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm the Water Quality Director for Lake Stewards of Maine. I have 2 reasons for being here, and this goes out to the people on the internet too. One is obviously for the request for money, the support, but the other is to help us engage volunteers across the state. We are a small organization, big footprint. We cover the entire state. We perform the water quality monitoring with about 500 volunteers around the state. And we are looking at aquatic invasive species, pollution sources that are impacting lakes, and the issues related to climate change. So the big one there that we really focus on is ice change. And it's a big cultural tradition to monitor these practices. It's a really important record for scientific progress. And so we work very closely with the state of Maine. The state of Maine doesn't have the ability to send scientists out around the state. And so we coordinate with volunteers, provide the technical expertise to provide them with the training and the resources of what's taking place on their lake. Tonight, I'm asking for $500 of contribution to our program. We're reaching out to lots of municipalities, small amounts from each one to help support this large effort. This funding helps support the training, materials that go to support it, and looking at additional sampling that might take place should issues arise, especially with cyanobacteria blooms, things like that. I understand there's lots of local issues that was mentioned. Lakes are often overlooked in the state. We have beautiful coastline. People know of our forests. Maine acts as one of the last, sort of bastions of really high water quality in the nation. we have incredibly low levels of aquatic invasive plants in the state. We are basically surrounded up in Quebec, over in our neighbors in New Hampshire. There are lots of potential sources for aquatic invasive species coming in, and we perform the training to allow our volunteers to know what those invasives are, because early detection allows for lots of preventative measures and addresses these things before they get out of cost. You may have seen the recent study at the University of Maine. The lakes are estimated as of 2024 to provide over $14 billion of economic activity to the state. In Bucksport, you have 10 lakes, and only one of them is actively monitored at this time. We have aquatic invasive species monitors on it, and also water quality monitors on it, and that's Silver Lake. These are 10 local assets that are really worth protecting, and we want to try and engage the community and ensure that we do have more volunteers in this area, and we are really trying to engage all the communities and support these efforts. So I want to thank you tonight, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Help yourself to it.
I am going to.
Please do. Let's see, the Next Step Domestic Violence Project.
Hi there. My name is Mallory Brown, and I'm the Director of Advocacy for Next Step. We are the local domestic violence program for both Hancock and Washington County. We offer a variety of services from our 24/7 helpline, shelter, supportive housing, legal services, criminal justice advocacy, support groups, including certified domestic violence intervention programs. So that is for perpetrators of domestic violence. We provide child protective services advocacy, as well as education and prevention services. We serve around 1,000 people a year, but some numbers specific to Bucksport. We do have 2 staff people, myself included, and our attorney, Rick Doyle, who reside in Bucksport. Last fiscal year, we served 41 residents of Bucksport, hence our ask of $4,100. We also are very fortunate that the Bucksport school system is very receptive to having our youth educators in. And so each year we provide a series of 3 presentations and workshops to the middle school and high school students. Are there any questions? Okay. Well, I will say before I go, I am going to take a cupcake because I have a 9-year-old son, Jensen, whose biggest dream is to be the mayor of Bucksport.
Really?
He's been talking about this since he was 2. He cannot wait. He has big ideas for the town, and he is going to lose it when I tell him I met the mayor, I was at his birthday celebration, and he gave us a cupcake. He's going to be thrilled.
We should have a children's market.
We should. Because honestly, there are days he can have it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I love it.
Thank
no,
you.
Please, he can have 2 cupcakes. 'Cause, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Oh, great. Thank you for the reminder. We'll let the SPCA of Hancock County is next.
Good evening. My name is Mindy Wolf. I'm the Executive Director of the SPCA of Hancock County. And we promote animal welfare through community education, advocacy, and placement of hundreds of dogs and cats in responsible and loving homes. So our animals are strays or they're surrendered by the owners who can no longer care for them. We offer low-cost microchipping, financial assistance for emergency veterinary services, and vouchers for low-cost spays and neuters as well. Specific to Bucksport, we also have a pet food pantry, which we serve 2 people in Bucksport. They actually use our pet food pantry monthly. We had one a PAL, a Prevent a Litter certificate last year. So we covered about a third of the cost of a spay and neuter for that particular family. And we also have a good working relationship with your local animal control officer. So we've received several animals from the local animal control officer. From the time of intake to the time of adoption, it averages about $1,200 for us to take care of that animal. And we are asking for about $500 to help support our mission. Do you all have any questions that I can answer for you?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Help yourself.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
Yes.
Yes, I won't forget them, I promise. Well, we'll see, but I promise try not to. Let's see, Sweetser.
I'm going to keep this brief. We've heard from a lot of great organizations tonight, and we are a rather large organization. But my name is Elizabeth Smith. I am here from Sweetser. And what we do at Sweetser is we are a behavioral health nonprofit. We're based in Saco, but we do serve, we have 9 locations throughout the state. And we do serve Bucksport. We served 24 residents in Bucksport last year. And our big focus is providing evidence-based and holistic mental health treatment and recovery services to individuals throughout the state. And some of that looks like, providing, we have an affiliate network, which is our partners with local therapists, and that's throughout the state of Maine. We have our crisis stabilization units where people can stay in Winterport and Saco, and we are actually in Rockland. So we have some crisis support systems throughout the state, which is really needed in this mental health crisis that we're in. We have a peer support line that is open 24/7 and provides 30,000 calls each year. Like I said, we are rather large. We provided care to over 12,000 families last year. But our biggest struggle for funding is, providing enough funding to keep our clinicians employed. So that's been a big struggle. So the wait lists continue as we try to find, as we try to hire more people in this climate. So we are, asking for $1,000. Every little bit counts, but I think we're just really grateful for this opportunity to come before you and tell us a little bit more, tell you all more about who we are and what we do, because we don't have a location here. We have one in Belfast. It is our residential house for adults, and they can stay there, but we don't have one here in Bucksport, and we're hoping to expand. But for now, this is the ask. So thank you very much. Any questions at all?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
3 left. The CFB Foundation Nourishing Hope. CBF.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So we're actually the Christine B Foundation. I'm Kathleen. I'm on the board of directors. I'm also a practicing physician assistant. And so CBF is a nonprofit. We provide medically tailored food for cancer patients. So last year we served 33 Bucksport citizens. This is usually via weekly deliveries. We do have a site where you can pick up food as well at Cancer Care in Brewer. But usually in the surrounding communities, we really are going out there and delivering at-home meals for patients that cannot, pick up those food items. So we are seeking $5,000 to ensure that this healthy food and nutritional information can remain available for Bucksport families. And this is basically, obviously food purchase is our highest cost, but also the distribution and personnel that goes along with that. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Amy. last group. Anything in mind, Amy? Oh, there you are.
I got the lucky front row seat that was added. My name is Jill Henderson. I'm the Associate Director of Development and Communications for NAMI Maine. NAMI stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are the Maine chapter, but we are our own 501c3, so any funding that we receive stays with us in Maine. Nothing gets kicked up to national. We offer a variety of services. We work legislatively at the State House. We have a suicide prevention program where we provide trainings for clinicians, providers. We provide mental health trainings for police departments. We also work closely with the Bureau of Veteran Services to provide mental health resources to veterans in conjunction with them. We don't track our services by location of the resident, simply because we ask for as little personal information to access our service as possible. We want to make it as easy as possible for someone to pick up the phone and say they need help with their mental health. So we offer, but every Bucksport resident has access to our mental health helpline that operates Monday through Friday. We can take as much or little information as people are interested in sharing with us and get them connected to the resources that are available to them, both geographically in their area with their insurance needs or capabilities. So we work with people who call into our helpline. We also have support groups throughout the state. We have programs where we train people for free to run their own support groups, so they're able to open them in areas that aren't near major hubs. We also have free online support groups, both for people with peer-to-peer mental illness needs and challenges, also for families of folks who are enduring mental illness challenges. And we also have free classes online for how families can best support their loved ones, classes around both veterans, people in different mental health challenges and stages of their life. So those are available to anyone in Maine. So I wish I had numbers of, how many Bucksport residents, but we just try to be as low barrier as possible, but not taking in that information. We also have programs in schools, both short programs about mental health information, as well as long-term programs where we set up peer-to-peer liaisons in the schools so that the students have the tools to have conversations about mental health with their peers, and that they can have them after the adult leaves the room, because no matter how cool you are, you will not be as cool as them being able to talk to each other and have those organic conversations. So we try and give youth as many tools as possible to have those conversations, and then be there as a support when they need someone to come in and guide those conversations. So that is what we do. We are a statewide organization. We serve the entire state of Maine. Our one brick and mortar location is in Hollowell, so we branch out from there, but we are a team on the move.
That was your 3 minutes.
There you go. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
Yes, you as well.
Thank you.
Help yourself, by the way.
Oh, great.
Councilor Bishop, you were late, but I know you've been on the road. There are various treats for, let's just say, various birthdays on this council, and I don't name names, but my wife does. And so if you're hungry, we'll make sure you have plenty
Thank you very much.
plenty to eat. Yes. I do believe the folks from Bucksport Childcare came in a little bit late, and I don't mean to highlight that part, but no.
Well deserved. Yeah, happy birthdays, and horrified to be late, so sorry about that. My name is Emily. I am the parent of 2 little tiny people who go to the Bucksport Area Child Care Center, and I'm also the chair of the board. I've been with the center in that capacity for almost 2 years now. So we are one of the very few daycare providers in the area. We serve students 10 months to 10 years of age. We have a toddler's classroom, a preschool, and pre-kindergarten classroom. We do before and after care for students who are in the public school system, and then we do we didn't for a few months, but now we do again do school age care. We have 39 students right now. We're operating at capacity given the size constraints of our building. We have waiting lists in each classroom. And we serve as many students as we can. It's fully publicly available to all families in the area. There's an application process. We help families connect to state resources in terms of subsidies, that kind of thing. Family resources if there are other needs within each household. But we do our best to serve as broadly as we can. Again, we're limited by the size of our building. Like I said, there was a brief period this fall where we lost our school age program. And that is due to just a chronic problem with staffing that everybody in the industry is faced with. You've probably all seen the headlines about staffing in childcare and just the struggles in general in the industry. But we have a great team right now. We have 5 full-time staff, 3 assistant teachers who do mostly after-school care, and a great director who's just completely reinvigorated the center. And we are respectfully asking for $8,000 again this year, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Do you happen to know the total of how many you have on your waiting list?
Yes.
Approximately. I mean, if you say 11 and it's 12,
No, we have, let's see. If we could open school age up to as many students as we served before, we probably have 25 students who have asked for to come back to us. We have a current waiting list of 8 students for preschool and pre-K. We're graduating out 10 students into kindergarten, into the public school system, which is very exciting, but also very sad for us. And so we have families who are just waiting for those 10 to go before they go on the waiting list. So we'll be maxed out again at 15 in that class. And then we have 9 on the waiting list for the toddlers classroom. And that classroom is maxed out at 10 due to staffing ratios. So I wish we had more space and I wish we had more teachers. But, yeah.
Question?
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I should say Julie sends her apologies. Her daughter had a dance recital tonight, but she very much hoped to be here.
We saw her last weekend.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't have been late though, so.
That's all right, don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move away from social agencies this evening, any final questions, comments? Okay. Anybody need to take a break? Anybody hungry?
Hancock County Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, we've
already been here.
Yep.
That was the program for repairs to seniors.
Oh, okay.
Yep, thank you. Yep, cool. Alright. If there are no questions, the next up is the recreation program.
Good evening, Council. Happy early birthday, Mayor Bissonnette.
Thank you.
I'm on page 63, onto recreation. Recreation Department is comprised of a number of different things. Also included in it is our Senior Citizens Program, and as well as the library, and also our contract with Downey's Family YMCA. Representatives from each of those organizations are in attendance tonight. Excuse me. Starting off with, get right into it, the O2 account. That is the wages for our Senior Citizens Director. That's a part-time position. He works 25 hours a week. Just a 3% cost of living adjustment is being made there. The O3 line is labeled swimming payroll. That's what it used to be when the town owned it. That is the contract with the YMCA. And Matt, I don't know if you want to. Sure. Matt Montgomery, I'll invite him up. He'll.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon. My name is Matt Montgomery. I'm the CEO of the Downey's Family Y. So I'm representing the Bucksport Y, which is a part of the Downey's Family Y. First off, I want to say thank you for this partnership, which is entering its 8th year now and has been great for the YMCA, and I'd like to think it's been great for the town of Bucksport as well. In 2024, we served over 500 children in a variety of different programs. We had 116 kids in youth basketball, 81 kids in cheer, over 50 kids in football, 92 kids in soccer. We had 80 kids at our camp. We also, not including the 9 counselors from Bucksport Area High School. We ran a variety of road races and basketball tournaments throughout the town that brought in a lot of people from outside of Bucksport at various times throughout the year. In managing the pool this last year in 2024, we had 6,813 guests, over 80% of which were Bucksport residents. That averaged to be about 119 visits a day. We are asking for a slight increase this year. So the funds that go to the YMCA basically help cover staffing. A lot of that does go into operating of the pool, but the other piece of it is these funds help keep program rates much lower than what they are for YMCA, like what we operate in Blue Hill and in Ellsworth. At about 40% less the rates are here than what they are at those for non-members of those towns. Again, we thank you for everything that this partnership has done for the Y and for the town, and happy to answer any questions about our ask for this year.
Questions from Mr. Montgomery? No, sir.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, the 05 line, that's titled Assistant Director. Again, those are old titles that we really should change the names of those. That is 10 years ago when the town started contracting out YMCA, there was a desire and a goal from the town not to lay off any workers, any staff. And so at that time, there was an agreement reached with the RSU for a social worker. That individual is an employee of the town, but is a social worker for the school. And that has previously been a full-time position where the school reimbursed the town for 180 days of school, and the town funded the rest of the year. In talking with Superintendent Tripp throughout the budget process, it was decided and agreed upon, and what is proposed is for that to become a part-time position where the school will reimburse the full 180 days, and there's no additional cost to the town. So that goes from a part-time a full-time to a part-time position, the schedule with which we're allowing the school to handle, because that's where this individual is staffed. So that's the difference in that line.
So can I ask a quick question, just to make sure I have it right?
Yeah.
So in other words, there will be a corresponding revenue line at some point that basically.
That is correct.
Cancels, for lack of a better word, cancels that out.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
If there's no objection from the council, could you just relabel that in the future?
100%. Yep. Like I said, these were from when the town was still doing the recreation program. I don't think we've just ever changed it since then, but we will do that for sure. Going down the 39 line, building supplies. This would be a good time to bring up, as you all know, we've discussed throughout your meetings our desire to bring on a facilities director, which will be covered more when we get into the town dock budget. But currently, the town has a $40,000 cleaning contract with a local company here in town, and they're responsible for cleaning or janitorial services for the public safety building, the town office, and the senior center. And as part of this process, our desire is to have janitorial services be a responsibility of the facilities director. And so our proposal is to eliminate the cleaning contract which is a savings of $40,000 a year, and incorporate those into the duties of the facilities person. So that is the reduction in the 39 line. This was previously the Senior Citizens Center portion of that contract. And I would just add that if the facilities director weren't to be funded for whatever reason, we would have to add that $40,000 back into the budget, as it's not in it right now. So that the impact to the total budget isn't, $100,000 for this facility, it's $40,000 less. So I just wanted to point that out because I don't think we'd really covered that up until this point. I think the next really big jump at just miscellaneous equipment maintenance and repairs. That could be the 51 line. That could be really anything that we might have. We have a lot of different recreation facilities. Same thing with building maintenance and repairs. That line has we've seen an increase in that over the past couple of years. So that's the increase in that. 61 line, telephone line, that's a reduction just to get us closer to what our actual cost is in that line. Vehicle fuel is a new budgeted amount. That's the fuel for the senior citizens van. So that's a new line there.
Random question. Do you have any idea how many miles we've put on that since we bought it?
I would have to ask Matt because I don't, off the top of my head, know what the starting, it came to us used. And there was a number on it, so it didn't start at 0.
Right.
I don't know that.
We can get you that information for sure. Okay, electricity, that was trending high, so the 81 line, so we've increased that to get us closer to where we anticipate being. Water's a slight reduction. The 82 line, no change to the snowmobile club. The 91 line is rent at the senior center. That's increasing this year slightly, so just shy of a 5% increase there. And the youth athletic expense is expenses for programs through the YMCA. It could be any number of things. And then that gets us down to the 95 line, which is the Buck Memorial Library, and I believe Director Ladd is here in attendance tonight.
Great.
Hi. It's been a week. I was actually in the Maine legislature last week, testifying on behalf of a bill, and was driving home that night to learn that 13 positions at the Maine State Library have been cut. My library is currently asking for increased funding. I said 35,000 just to make it easier, but 34,608 would be just fine. We are currently serving 1,179 citizens of Bucksport. Our operating budget for 2025 is $132,640. Income from our endowment covers 60,000 of our budget. As a 501c3, it is our fiduciary responsibility to maintain our endowment in perpetuity. Therefore, we only draw on the interest of the endowment with the exception of unexpected emergencies, such as the mold issue that we had a few years ago that resulted in a third of our collection needing replacement. At that time, we withdrew a one-time sum of $50,000 from that endowment. And currently, our endowment is far less than what it was a month ago. The average cost of a hardcover at this point is $20. By borrowing a maximum of 10 items per person, folks are saving $200 per visit coming to the library. As you can see by the calculations on page 2, which is a library services calculator, The total savings for our community last year using our 2024 statistics was $245,118.50. This is taking into account the programs that we do, the materials that we circulate, the Wi-Fi that we provide, the computers that we provide, the reference questions that I answer, etc. And if you want to know the truth, I think that number is conservative because the calculator was written several years ago, and I can personally tell you that children's books do not cost $8 anymore. I am happy to answer any questions. I recognize that this is a big ask, especially this year, but we've been underfunded for quite a few years, and I'm just trying to keep the lights on. And as we all know, I had 2 federal grants, which paid for our heat pumps and paid for all of the new furniture and the benches that you see outside. Jared Golden's office called me today. Federal grants, no chance of that anytime soon. Maine Humanities has had their budget gutted. I was lucky enough they had already cut the check for the major grant that I just received for the Tell Your Story program, but in conversation with their staff at the State House last week, they are fully anticipating that most of the support that they've given libraries for years is going away. So I personally feel that we're kind of at a crux because I know that the municipalities are hurting, I know that my patrons are hurting, and I don't know where the grants are going to come from. So, any questions?
Can I ask you, what is your formula for use of interest from your endowment? What, is there a rolling 5-year average? Is it 5%? Is it, what?
We were drawing, I think it was 3.2%. We had met with our financial advisor a little over a month ago, who had at the time recommended that he thought that we could comfortably take a little bit more, but that was before everything that's been happening in the stock market. And so we had a trustees meeting last night. I believe if we are going to seek more of our interest, we have to find out for sure whether it's not going to affect our principal. I do know, because I sit on the Wilson Museum Finance Committee, that they took a major hit to their endowment. We have not received our numbers yet. But I anticipate if it's anything like my 401k that it's not going to be pretty.
I just didn't know if there was a 5-year average of what.
So we basically withdraw $5,000 a month, and that is the recommended amount, or was the recommended amount from our financial advisor at the time. And that was determined last year. And as I said, we had a meeting with him, a little over a month ago, and at that time, we were thinking that we were going to draw a little bit more, but I anticipate that if we called him tomorrow, he would say, no, stay where you are. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Something really quickly, I hope, folks, before we move on. I do want to speak about the library for a minute, just as a point of conversation, because it's been a point of conversation out in the community. And so I feel like we probably at least ought to set some expectations this evening. I, for one, have been thinking a lot about the library. You know that I asked for numbers around users. I'm not gonna bore you with details, but I kinda, that I asked for users for the pool, the senior citizen center, the snowmobile club, and the library. And before I go any further, I wanna make sure that everybody is clear that I am not advocating that we do anything with the requests, anything different. This is not a reflection on how I feel about the pool, the snowmobile club, or on the Senior Citizen Center. It was just for me to wrap my head around what it's costing us per person. And basically, if you use the 1,179 folks that have library cards from the town of Bucksport and divide that over that $30,000 manager recommendation, you're looking at about $25 and just under 50 cents a person. Whereas the Senior Citizen Center would have to be considerably higher than that. The Snowmobile Club would be about $115, and the pool would be around $30. I will highlight that the library is open year-round. It serves all ages. It serves all citizens. And I'm not going to get into the federal piece of it because I don't think that's for us to do. But I do want to highlight one thing. When I first got on this council in 2018, without getting into specifics, there was a lot of conversation about the library then too, and a lot of the services that the library, whether true or not, wasn't providing. For example, no Wi-Fi, very limited loans, et cetera, et cetera. There was even a conversation at one point where it was, we're getting the same request of $13,000 to $14,000 a year. Nobody from the library comes to the budget meeting, and nobody from the board is having much of a conversation with us about that either. And quite honestly, the conversation also went that we might even be willing to do more if we had a little bit more visibility into what's happening at the library. And I would think since that time, I think it can be easily demonstrated that that has been the case. And to be fair, I feel that's worthy of mention. Would I like to see consideration of charging non-citizens? I don't think that should be off the table. I know for a fact that there was a request made, I don't mean to pick on Verona Island, but a request was made to Verona Island and they turned it down. So that's worthy of conversation.
Mr. Mayor, can I clarify? Do you mean non-residents or non-citizens?
Non-residents, excuse me. Yes, I know that's probably a word in these days I should, non-residents. So I don't think that conversation should be entirely off the table, but I think that if this council is gonna put money towards the library, we should have some visibility into that conversation. And I also think we should have some visibility into the conversation about exactly how the endowment is gonna be used moving forward, because I think our library director is right. There is a financial responsibility to make sure that that endowment covers the library and it's in perpetuity. I'll finish with this. We have a bookstore in town. And that bookstore, theoretically, every time somebody goes to the library instead of goes to the bookstore, that costs the bookstore money. The bookstore, and I'll mention his name even though I didn't tell him I was gonna, so I kind of feel bad, but Andy has a decision at that point to, we all know that Andy, or I think we all know, and if you don't, you're about to know that if you walk into the bookstore, Andy has a list of books that the library needs and he will sell them to you at cost so that the library can have the books that it needs. Andy doesn't have to do that. And I think what Andy is doing is playing the long game there and being a good citizen. What Andy is doing is planting seeds of which will grow seeds that he likely will never enjoy the shade of, to steal a phrase. And I think it is where this council should consider that, and also should consider that in all likelihood, we have sat under the shade of the tree that has been across the street for as long as it has, and hopefully will in the future. So that is what I would ask this council to consider as we move forward with the library.
Can I just suggest to the council also that,
I'd have to ask you to come up to the.
and what I forgot to say, and this is something, and by the way, the trustees are talking about charging non-residents for cards, specifically Prospect and Stockton Springs, unless we see support from them. They've received letters from us, but so far I have not received any indication that we're going to be hearing from them. What I would like to say is I really would suggest to all council members, come to the library. Rich came yesterday to tell me that I needed to be in this meeting, and he happened to come right before story time when it is absolute chaos in the library. And You know, we really invite everyone in this community to use the library, and you know, the numbers that I have of registered patrons are not necessarily all the people that I serve. I serve the people who are coming off of the cruise ships. I'm serving people. I've been printing tax forms for weeks now, and many of them don't have library cards. So I just really encourage you, you know, we're right across the street. Come visit. Thank you.
The town manager pointed out to me, and she is correct, that perhaps my advocacy this evening is a little bit out of line. And so I will own that. I certainly didn't mean to be out of line, but it has been a conversation in the public, and I was trying to address that. So I certainly did not intend to give anyone else short shrift or be put at a disadvantage. I know there are varying viewpoints on this, and I respect every one of those. So I will apologize for being out of order on that.
You weren't out of order. The general way is they've been presentations, and then at the time that the council discusses them for funding purposes is when everybody weighs in. I am not a voting member of this organization, and I meant no disrespect.
No, I appreciate you.
20-odd organizations.
You don't get a cupcake.
I don't want to.
No.
But we have 20-some organizations here that don't have the benefit of anyone doing this discussion tonight.
Okay. No, you're absolutely right. Nope, you're absolutely right. So if I likely spoke out of turn, so I will reserve my comments.
I'm so out of line right now. It's a good thing I'm done in 3 months.
No. I will reserve my comments, and I will reserve my comments moving forward. You now know how I feel about the library, and my opinion is not any more important than anyone else's, I assure you. So, anything else on that?
I am sorry.
No, I am. No, you have nothing to be sorry for. It's been a conversation out there, and I thought we would discuss it this evening, so I apologize for that. Anything else on that? Probably shouldn't be. Okay. Any other questions on recreation? All right, we'll move on. I believe we're going to the town dock. All right.
Is there something I didn't say?
Yes, something you didn't say.
All right, thank you for taking the town dock up this evening. We'll start with line 02, the waterfront wages. So I'll start with, we've cut a position, but we're requesting a facilities director. So kind of cut one, but kind of didn't, but.
So just, I hate to cut you off already, but
Let's go.
elaborate on that a little bit more. We've cut a position from the waterfront and.
We've cut one of the summertime positions on the waterfront. We've typically done 3 kids on the waterfront with Ron. So with the facilities director, the thought was that person was gonna take on some of that work of that third person. We'll manage the best we can with the facilities director for when they're able to help out down there. Does that satisfactorily answer your question?
Fascinated, continue.
Okay. Building supplies, there's a slight increase on there because everything's going up. You know, small equipment purchase, we're gonna hold flat on that line. Most of the equipment we do have is new. We've switched over a lot of our equipment to battery operated. And we've got enough batteries on hand now that we can recycle through. Equipment maintenance, equipment rental, there's a slight decrease. We were able to realize savings by switching porta potty companies. That's $20 a unit savings. Equipment maintenance and repairs, there's a slight increase on that. Our infrastructure and equipment, I consider the lights on the waterfront part of that, and if you haven't seen, we've got 4 completely out now, so I have to hire an electrician to take care of that because that light bulb, I've tried 3 different times and I personally can't buy what we need. A certified electrician has to buy the special light bulb that we need. So we'll get those up there and fixed and have some extras on hand because we can easily change it. We just can't buy it. Building maintenance and repair, again, this is the bathrooms, the vandalism that we continually deal with the bathrooms, regular wear and tear, fuel for the vehicles. So there's an increase here. We previously grabbed the fuel for the mule and the gas, the mule and the riding lawnmower from the marina, and we shouldn't have been doing that. So we've been getting it up at the garage, and there's a cost associated with that. So to accurately get that figure, that's why the increase is there. Electricity cost of that is, I'm sure if you've opened your bill, seen that's going up. We also, when the cruise ships and everything's here, the people on the dock, it was going to the marina. So, I mean, it needs to go to the town dock. So some of that electricity cost that the marina was picking up is sliding over to the dock as rightfully it should. Not that the cruise ship is using it, but there are folks there who are there 2 to 3 months out of the summer or transients who come in and hook up. Water, there's a slight decrease in that line item. As you can see, we haven't quite reached that level of needing to be that high any longer. And miscellaneous, we're gonna hold that line flat. That covers town flowers, which is one of the biggest expense that comes out of there.
So just so that I'm clear, because apparently that's an issue this evening. The summer staff, you've removed one 10-week position?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to know what the dollars and cents was there.
And this physical facilities director line is what's built in, is this new proposed position that is under your purview?
Well, no, this is going to be their purview. I'm doing the budget for them.
Okay, this is under your budget.
This is under the waterfront budget for whoever the facilities director is. This will be the budget they inherit.
And that position will report to the town manager.
So they will oversee and take care of all of this while coordinating all events, while coordinating all building repair and maintenance and vendors and clean for buildings constantly. I don't see how that's gonna happen.
Thank God you said it.
We've all got to make sacrifices, and we've all got to do what's best for the citizens of the town. We're not constantly mowing the lawn on the waterfront, and if we all work together as a town staff and all overlook, now, a lot of the time I spend is up at the playground because something's going here or there. With a brand new playground, we best not be dealing with that. The waterfront trails have been maintained. They've been, for the first time, besides maintenance, have been up to a standard that now when it rains, it just doesn't run off and we have to send someone out there. There was enough left over that it's by the trails that if the RSU has a cross-country meet, their folks know access that and fix what you need to fix. Or if our town crew needs to go out there, they can do it. That's all set. The basketball courts have been taken care of, minus the ground, which is starting to crack a little bit. The hoops, the lights, all set. The ice rink roof is done. The ice rink lights on the building is done. We got a heat pump in there. It's all set. Essentially what you're looking at, yes, this is gonna be a lot of work on this person. And I'm confident that the youth who work here for the 10 weeks in the summer when we have our best weather will be up to par. Unfortunately, the kids who worked here in the past are all moving on, which is fantastic. We hired great human beings. Wynn is working in Michigan under his degree. Glenn is working with a buddy of his in a profession that he wants to go down, and Trent has his own lawn care business.
Who supervises the summer stuff?
I do.
You.
Well, but I won't.
Will
The facilities director would.
will also be a supervisor of 3 staff.
Yes. So we've done a lot of work to put us into a position that this person should not have to run around like I've done. And when you come across my budget, you'll see some cuts that I made because I won't need to answer my cell phone at all hours of the day.
But just one person cleaning 4 buildings constantly is,
That's new.
that's quite a challenge by itself.
It is. My suggestion might be to that person who were to take that on, and this is coming from me, Mr. Not Delegate, right? Is maybe delegate that to somebody like a Ron or a kid. You know, there's only so often you can water the flowers. I mean, if we get rain like we've had all winter and all spring, well, then we don't need to be out there watering the flowers every other day. I mean, because I will say, part of the problem that we face is the amount of hours it takes to water all the flowers in this town. That's almost 3 full days. So, because we've taken on the roses and the stuff at the Veterans Memorial as well, and that right there is 2 hours just doing those roses. So, I'm confident with the work that I've been able to do with the help of Jay's crew, the RSU folks helping out, and the summer kids, that will be in a good enough position to maintain what we have. I can't give you an honest answer on what the impact's gonna be on the cleaning of the buildings. But I will say, adding an extra summer person ain't gonna offset that.
No, I get it, and I'm not saying all this as against it. It's just, this is gonna be a hard find. It's gonna be a hard hire when you give them, these are your duties.
It is.
I would just add, I think I don't disagree with you on the janitorial side of it. That was kind of a compromise that we came to try and offset the increase to this position. But outside of janitorial services, right now, we have one person that's responsible for all of these things you're looking at.
Yeah.
And so,
It gets done.
and it gets done. And so I think throughout this process, it's gonna be a learning curve for us internally to see. We have an idea of a job description, we have an idea of what we want this person to do, but that could look a little bit differently when all of this is said and done. It could be that, you know, internally departments need to take a little bit more responsibility for their buildings and doing some of those things. But it's a process of us trying to work through it and see what's gonna work. The end goal here is to try and alleviate and take some of this stuff off of your community and economic development director and allow him to do community and economic development. So that's where we're coming from.
And that I absolutely agree with,
Yeah.
yes, I just think this is a tall order.
I don't disagree with you.
It's gonna be
Again,
hard to
it was
find somebody with all these skill sets.
And summer's gonna be harder than the rest of the year.
I also wonder if there'll be some sort of leeway where if somebody comes on board with this like workload, they may inform the staffing pattern actually needed, because you've been doing it as well as your other job. And so it'd be interesting to see after a year, if we did it, what that person, whoever's in that position sort of assesses that is needed. I mean, because I think that we won't know for sure until we have somebody who's dedicated solely to all of that to have an understanding.
I won't just go away, and I can't take all the credit. It's delegation. The harbor master and the deputy harbor master have had to help fill in when cruise ship trash needed to be done. Reaching out to Jay's crew and getting Kevin and Jerry coming down when there is no help in the fall to help Ron. They mow and weed whack. It's having the conversation and the ability to understand that I can't do it all, Ron can't do it all, but as together as a team, we get it done. We don't get complaints. I mean, we shut the bathrooms down because I get irritated when I'm called on Thanksgiving morning because someone vandalized it. So I'm working with Public Safety Director Gagan, and we're going to want to present to the council a thought that I have as well, because it's going to cut down the thought is we'll cut down on building maintenance, it'll cut down on building supplies, and that's really changing the hours of when this waterfront walkway is open. And then when it becomes an issue, other communities already do it. Shut the lights off earlier. Nothing good happens after 8 o'clock because there are no businesses in town really to speak of that are open after 8 o'clock at night anyway. So maybe it's 9 o'clock in the summer when the sun comes down. So I understand the cleaning part. I don't know how much time it takes at each building. I can tell you I'm here on Friday mornings when the cleaning people are here. And if the amount of time that's spent in this building is spent at those buildings, it should not be an issue.
It's probably like maintenance cleaning, right?
It is. I'm confident that the council and the town manager have given me enough leeway to make the necessary fixes in place that the things that this person's gonna inherit it's not desolate, not the way I inherited. So, and again, I didn't do all the work. I call on the people who work with us and I have a good rapport with them that when I ask, they say yes. So this person, I'm not going anywhere. You know me, I'll be around, but I will not be answering my cell phone on Sundays anymore.
So
You won't get a cupcake.
Yes, you will.
So would this person be directly responsible for overseeing the summer staff also?
Yes, well, that's what my responsibility is to oversee the summer staff. I will ensure that the summer staff is hired before this person comes on because this staff position won't be started till July 1st, which is already 3 weeks into the season. We can't go till July with just Ron. We've been lucky the last couple of years with Wynn being in college and Harry before that, Glenn last year, that they were able to hop on in May. So I'm not gonna lie, it might be a struggle this year because we don't have anyone yet. I've had a couple people reach out and I unfortunately have not added the position to the town website, which I will do tomorrow when I'm in.
That number for I haven't calculated that yet, but that doesn't include benefits and insurance and everything total for that, does it?
No, the total cost for the position was estimated at around 100,000, including a salary of 57,250, I believe, plus the associated benefits are another 40% on top of that. Main State Retirement. We estimated at full family health insurance, or their share of full family health insurance, if someone doesn't need that or has a single plan that reduces that, it's budgeted into the overall budget at that. And a revenue offset is the $40,000 cleaning contract, which, as described, the number of hours per building per day is not high. I understand. Yes, Sean?
If I may, because I'm involved in this budget also, there is a big difference between a building that is open 4 days a week and one that is open 365 days a year. So there is a difference in the amount of time that's spent here and the amount of time that's spent in my building. I have to put that on the record because there is a big difference. And our building is a lot bigger than this building. There's people in and out of there all year long, 24/7.
In the senior center every day, well, not every day, well, kind of every day is food and things like that.
But they only clean 3 days a week at the senior center.
3 days a week.
3 days a week.
I just needed to voice my opinion for my budget, that's all.
And there's nothing to say that you can't pull, so I'll just throw an example out there. The soccer field, the fence needed to be extended, we were out of compliance. That was everybody minus Ron from the waterfront and everybody that the RSU had on staff. We did the job and got it done in under 1 day to get the fence down. When the fence needed to go back up, those same people went back up there and in 1 day had that fence put back up. If that department works as a team, and the thing is, all right, we're coming in at 7 in the morning, there's 4 of us. There are 3 buildings, 4 buildings, however many. We should be done by X o'clock. We're all outside at this point right here, maybe except the facilities director who has other responsibilities, but then they may be able to hop on the last hour or two to do that. Smarter, not harder. 4 people can clean the buildings. One here, one there, and the 2 bathrooms on the waterfront. But those don't take very long.
The only other thing I would recommend, I'm not arguing with Rich at all, because I have seen a lot of cleaning people, and I have seen one cleaning company since I've been here 36 years. There is a major difference in what you're gonna pay for and the quality of work that you're gonna get out of someone coming in and emptying the waste baskets as opposed to a cleaning company. I'm just saying, I've seen both sides of it, and there is a major difference.
There's a third side I'll add to it. In 2015, the janitor for public safety building was that man right there.
Right.
So.
And people have mentioned, I can clean. Yes, I can. I've done it.
I have a question, Dr. Gagan. Do you have specific cleaning needs that are slightly different than office buildings? Like, do you have like human waste needs with, just given that you're doing like emergency services and things like that?
No, it's just it's a matter of having the number of people in and out. Like right now, we've been discussing doing floors. The lobby floor in our building needs to be redone. No one that they're gonna hire is gonna do that lobby floor. There just is a big difference in a cleaning person and a cleaning company. There is. But the waste and stuff, biohazard waste goes through the fire department, it's red bagged, and they don't do any of that,
Silly
but.
question, I just wasn't
Right.
sure.
No, it's a good question.
To help you out before, Colin.
Bill.
Oh, sorry, Bill, yeah.
To speak for the senior center about cleaning, before Colin came to clean for us, we did it ourselves. And there isn't any reason we couldn't continue. You asked about food and stuff. The kitchen is maintained and cleaned by the staff of RSU 25, the cook that's in there. So it's our dining room and our living room. And it is basically, like Chief Gagan said, they come in and 3 days a week, they clean the bathroom, they empty the trash cans, they sweep the floor. And so and I did it before they were there, and I can continue to do it again. And throughout the day, I have to sweep the floor and empty the trash cans. It happens. And it's not a nice thing to say, but sometimes there's accidents in the bathroom. We're dealing with a group that sometimes has accidents. So throughout the day, I have to clean the bathroom too. So there's no reason I can't continue to do that.
Thank you, Bill.
And one last thing, since Kathy Downs, who was the cleaning person, has left, the floors haven't been waxed anywhere. So, I mean, what we're essentially doing is we're taking out the trash, we're cleaning up after ourselves. I mean, the RSU's doing it at the superintendent's office. They have their employees cleaning it up. We've got to make tough decisions. I think that this person is the right person, and I think that having the 4 people on, you can be able to get through too. Now, the needs are most likely different at the public safety building. But remember, at the end of the day, this facilities person is coming out of the town dock and the town dock budget. It's not everywhere else. So this person who we're saying is being hired out of here, no other department, no other facility is contributing to this amount. So what cannot be lost at the end of the day is what happens in the waterfront. If this waterfront.
Yeah, I need clarification.
I'm sorry,
I lost you.
I'm kind of, so right now, there should be, and I apologize, I haven't seen it, cleaning services somewhere.
They're in every budget that has
In
them.
every budget that has them, so I haven't seen every budget, so I just wanna make sure, for me, this waterfront is extremely important for economic development. The crucial people come here, tourists come here, our citizens rely on this waterfront. I don't want to be held up on cleaning building. If we need to, maybe we need to look a little deeper somewhere else and make hard choices. There was an accident in the bathroom here. You know what? I got 2 hands. There was a pair of gloves. I cleaned it myself. I see the cleaning that happens in this building, and I think they do a good job, but it's not over and above doing it. The floors haven't been waxed, and if you don't maintain floors, pretty soon it's gonna be like the roof, is gonna be like the side of the building, it's gonna start to fail. So if we're not doing it now, and if it's not gonna be part of the responsibility of this person, what are we gaining except for saving money at the end of the day? We're not doing anything to keep these buildings from falling into further disrepair.
Can I make sure I have the numbers straight, just so, and that may not be a question for you, Rich, I just wanna make sure that I'm not. If you take the salary and the benefits, and you said approximately $40,000.
Is the cleaning contract for the
Yep.
senior center, the public works building, and this building.
Okay. And what did you estimate would be the benefit costs on top of the 57.2?
The total
Or could
cost
be.
for the employee is approximately $100,000 between salary and benefits. If
Across two different
that
budgets.
person utilizes full family health care.
Got it, yeah.
Is a member of public retirement system, those are the two bigger one, and if there was a single subscriber, it's less than half the contributed cost, but in terms of being honest with the budget, the proposal included what the top end would be.
Right.
For your consideration,
Sure.
that's why.
I have a question for Rich. When you're speaking about the people who could help do the cleaning, are you talking about seasonal help?
Yes,
So, so say in the winter, the non-10 weeks that you have those folks, it would just be the one person?
it could. So in years past, I've budgeted for Ron to be on the waterfront cleaning the bathrooms. So, because this council had asked previously to keep the bathroom open year round.
But is that person, when we talk about the other buildings, if people are here to help, they're only here to help for 10 weeks, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. They're in the summer vacation. That's when those two people are
The
available.
rest of the year, the buildings all.
That would fall
The
on
workload-
facilities.
Right, the
yeah.
workload doesn't decrease that much. I mean, it's less in the winter, but it's not.
Yes, so it's a hard position to fill on the waterfront with two, because it's not year-round positions. So essentially what you're trying to do is find someone who's looking for a seasonal job on the waterfront. You should technically have two. That's how it was, I inherited it. There were two people full-time, and we didn't have any high school kids.
Mm.
And then they fall off and they may want to file unemployment during the time that they're off and not look for another job, or whatever the case may be. So trying to find people to work 6 months out of the year and not have anything else for them to do was a challenge. So the compromise was to hire two high school kids at a rate that you would have a full-time person, knowing every kid that we've had that's worked on this waterfront has worked above and beyond, and especially Bay Festival week. Now, yes, it is only 10 weeks, but it's worked out because trying to find that second person is tough. I mean, we find the same thing with when we talk about the marina later. Your harbor master, we're very lucky to have a harbor master who can work full-time or gets paid full-time during the year and is paid half-time because people want to be year-round full-time.
Sure.
Right? So it makes it very difficult when you want to try to find two Ron Grosses.
Sure. My concern is that in the winter, you don't have the extra help to clean the buildings then.
We're not outside doing anything
I don't mean
beyond
the
November.
waterfront
Yeah.
The side.
workload's down.
The workload
But
differs vastly.
But the senior center and the town office and the police station are all still fully functioning. Is what I'm, right?
They are. The police
I
station's
know that
open
they are, but I
365, yeah.
mean, you don't, so there's not an answer for the extra help in the winter.
There's not an answer for the extra help in the winter unless you were able to, because remember, Ron comes off now in the winter as well. So unless you can find someone who wants those extra hours or whatnot, or it would rely on staff.
Which would, and perhaps Jacob as well, if you put like a contracted service, like cleaning company, when there's sort of backups for absences, illness, injury and stuff, do you have sort of a backup plan in your head? If the facilities director had an injury, they were out for a month or out for a couple of weeks, or like would the staff just pitch in in that gap, or? Because with a cleaning company, you could sort of get another employee most likely and have that consistency.
Right. Yeah, so we had a year about 3 years ago where there was a very unfortunate incident down at the marina where we were down.
Yeah.
And it was Jess Ormsby and myself. And yes, I picked up more hours, but I picked those hours up on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. because I couldn't have Jess going through what happened with the last two, because it's just not fair. So when extra stuff needed to happen and I needed help, I reached out and Jay's crew helped out with open arms. It's a very tough year budget-wise, I understand, and the cleanliness of our buildings is important. But more than just the cleanliness, there has to be maintenance and repair and care. And the care is the big thing. The floors haven't been waxed since Kathy's retired. I mean, how much the salt that gets on there, you can wash it with the mop. Are you just spreading it around? Are you really getting into the cracks and crevices? Are you protecting it? And right now, we're not. And if we go away from the cleaning services who already isn't doing that, I just don't see why the facilities director and the help couldn't pitch in there.
So you're saying the current cleaning service isn't doing what we're what we're talking
They're
about?
not waxing the floors, they're not, they're doing their job, and they're doing a very good job. I'm not ridiculing anyone, but it's not over and above. We're not waxing the floors, we're not, grout and all of that stuff that's going on. You know, the washing and the trash and really that's it. I mean, I dust my own desk. I mean, it's not very hard. 30 seconds in the day, right? I mean, we got to find compromise, and we all have to pitch in as a team. You all have to work as a team to get this budget passed and do what's right for the overall good of this community. We all need to pick up as well. Me or him?
Him first.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Our
the
cleaning
Director of Public
company-
Safety first.
Thank you. Our cleaning company does in fact do floors. They have not done the floors because we have not asked them to do floors. I have a full price from them, and I've had it, and we've been discussing it a little bit, to have our floors done by that cleaning company. So if you want floors done, they do floors. And I want to let everyone know, I'm not against this position, but we all have different focuses in our jobs and our budgets and the buildings we're responsible for and how they're operated and how many days a week and how many days a year, so it's all different.
Everybody wants a cup.
Orland has a facilities manager, Mike Malenfant. I'm sure a lot of you know him.
Yeah.
Does an amazing job over there. And he does the floors. He does them in the winter when things are slower and he's not mowing all the fields and all that stuff. And he waxes the town office and the entire community center and the gym. He does all of it every year.
You just pick your battles.
You just do it when you have time. And this position will have time in the
He does a
winter.
really good job.
So, I mean, it can be done.
He even checks
Thank you.
fat traps or whatever they're called and sink drains.
Can I?
Please.
I will stop talking about cleaning after this. Of all the budgets we talked about tonight, I didn't think cleaning would be the stickler, but
there's nothing to say also that a hybrid sort of model can't work. We would be more than happy to provide you with the numbers of the breakdown of each building. We spend $18,000 on cleaning at public safety, $12,000 at town, whatever it might be. I think it's still right in here already. There's nothing to say. I tend to agree with Director Gagan that the public safety building is a different beast than the town office. And all that I'm trying to say is it might be worth us presenting you with information that breaks down what each building is so that you can see what the cost of the contract is that correlates to that building. And say you want to keep the cleaning contract for the public safety building and not keep it for other buildings within the town. That could potentially be a good compromise, and I'd be happy to provide you with
Nice to
that.
see the floor numbers too, then.
And the floors, and the floors.
No, that would be good because to Rich's point, yeah, that's not even the primary focus of the role, so we would wanna, yeah.
Back in the day when the floors were being done, it was being taken out of the reserve account every other year or so. They weren't done every year anyway. They were contracted when they were done then. It's an excellent idea, provide the cost of a cleaning contract for that. Because in this building, when we went to a 4-day week, we reduced our cleaning costs by 20%. We were cleaning five nights a week because we're open 5 days. We're open 4. It reduced the cost of cleaning by that day, and now it's a 4-day-a-week event and not 5, 6, or 7, which it is at public safety. So in terms of the amount of time that it takes for that, it's a much lower requirement and less frequent than it is for others. And it's 3 days a week.
Thank you, Jacob.
I have a question that has nothing to do with cleaning.
There you go.
But it does have to do with the town dock.
Yeah.
Okay, the crane.
Yes.
On here for equipment rental, we have the crane. Is this the same crane that's doing the work over at the marina? Or do we have a separate line item for the?
Yeah, the marina pays a portion of this as well. So when the year-round docks come in, the harbor master and I spoke that the best plan will be, because there will still be some wooden structures. The current mains at the town dock would now become fingers on the backside because we're gonna go out further. That would be a lot less than what we're dealing with now. We can boat over the other 10.
I just found on the marina there is a crane thing.
There is,
there.
yes.
All right, sorry I didn't have a cleaning question.
No, you're very good.
Give me a minute, I'll find something.
One other thing, and not to go back to cleaning, but it is important to understand that the waterfront takes care of the garbage in every building.
Yeah.
So that person's gonna be responsible for taking the trash out because that's whose responsibility it is.
I feel like we need the position for the waterfront and all of that. I like Jacob's idea though, just to get a sense of what a cleaning contract for the public safety building would cost.
Because that's the biggest piece.
That's the biggest sort of concern.
Is it 17,000?
We're
I acknowledge
down
this is a
15
very
ships
tight
this year, there's
budget.
less garbage to handle anyway now.
And this is very creative and analyzed, and I am very thankful for the work that you have all put into the critical thinking for these things, so. There is that element, so thank you for that.
I know.
Good,
It
no
is
more cleaning,
valid.
good.
It's
Truthfully,
impressive what you've done to sort of try and
folks,
find this.
you
make it
were
work.
not unclear with us in your discussions of what you wanted to see in terms of final numbers. That it wasn't lost on anyone who has any responsibility. So if some of these things seem a little, it's because they may be. This position would be a work in progress in terms of final definition, but I think the other thing that you should have seen, at least from all the people that will be here, is an extreme willingness to do what the community needs to make this work, which is what truthfully everyone has done as long as I've been here, which is whatever it needs to make it work, we'll figure it out. But these are all great questions, and Director Gagan and I have talked about cleaning, and I have been at that building a gazillion times, and I've got the proposal for doing the floors sitting in my inbox and to be discussed to take out of public safety building reserve, and it's a process, not an event.
Anything else on town dock? Et
I
cetera.
never knew that one.
Please move on.
Never saw that.
All right. Well, capital improvements, when we can talk about where we're gonna take money, no, I'm just kidding. Jacob.
The first request is to create a reserve of $10,000 for cleaning.
He stole my joke. He knew where I was going and he took it.
Trying to lighten the mood, trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
He did it so flat faced.
Meanwhile, I was cracking myself up. Yep.
Okay, page 67, capital improvements. Just as some background, historically, your process has been through the budget process that tonight, the discussion, or you are reviewing what we are recommending to be appropriated into the reserve. We include in your budget book the anticipated projects that the department heads have submitted, which is on page 68. But those projects are approved and reviewed on an individual basis throughout the year. So really the goal for tonight is to simply review the amount that you are raising to be placed into each one of these reserves, not approve each individual project. Because it could very well be that we get throughout the year and things change, prices go up, we're not able to do something. So again, our discussion for tonight really is just the reserve amounts. Just going right down, there's really the biggest difference is the additional $50,000 for the ambulance equipment reserve, because we will have a payment that hits this budget cycle on your new ambulance. I think we ordered, how many years ago, Chief Denning? A while ago.
Right?
A while ago.
And
22, right?
they have contacted me several months ago and said, I was hoping anytime after July 1st, we're probably looking at November, December, maybe January.
Oh my goodness.
It is crazy. They are 6 months behind
What's the delay?
with what.
What's the delay? Oh, sorry.
Everything,
Well, no.
Everything. Okay.
everything, manpower,
Got it.
parts, it's our world now, so.
So in 2026, we can get our brand new 2022.
Pretty much.
That's
The
right.
good news is we've locked that price in.
Exactly. There's a plus.
Because without it, we couldn't buy this ambulance. Because if you now went out to bid for one, they're in excess of $300,000 and our spending cap is
And
300.
it's up to a 3-year wait.
It would
So-
be a
Maybe you should go
referendum question.
It's crazy, really.
And so really the only other difference, so that 50,000 is anticipation of the payment on that ambulance. And then there's 100% for the waterfront reserve, I believe is a typo. The only other difference is the $10,000 for the town garage reserve. They have a couple of pieces of equipment, a tire machine and balancer, that they would like to purchase for the garage. And we for a number of years, haven't been funding that reserve, and so trying to get us back into that process. And I will add, just lastly, that it is a 24% increase, but this is getting you back to where your funding level was of $310,000 for both the 2023 year and the 2024 year. So while it is an increase this year, it's getting us back to where we were a couple of years ago. Yes, sir.
The tire machine and balancer, how are we doing that now with tires and wheels, and how's that job being taken care of now?
We do it at Matt's garage and
We have an employee that takes it.
we have an employee that takes it home.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Not ideal.
Not in the least. That was a surprise to me to learn that.
And the 23 Freightliner is the truck that we just discussed.
That's correct.
That's the same, that is the same path.
That's the same
financially.
path.
So we maintain the same money on that.
Correct. But that payment will not hit this budget cycle. We'll make the last payment on, yes, you're right, the 23. And then a new payment will hit for the newest one.
And our cruisers, although it's in the capital improvement line under the police budget, the cruisers are, now that we're in the lease program, they're just still listed under capital improvement.
That's correct.
That's correct.
And these are the spread out numbers of that.
Right. Those are payments, most of those within that. Those are all payments.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Does that town office budget, does that include things like replacing our roof? Or is that somewhere else?
It would be in the town office, yes.
That's in our,
Not the equipment budget, but there's a reserve
oh,
for
it's in a different.
Town office reserve is at 0.
for this year, but I think that there's a pretty considerable amount in the town office reserve already.
We've added to that without, I think, Unless the chairs came out of it that you're sitting in, which I think came out of the equipment.
I think that was
line
equipment.
item.
I think it was equipment.
Maybe last time we painted here or something.
What's that?
We painted here a couple years ago.
The appropriation to paint was more years than I can think of. We did $15,000 was appropriated years ago to
Right,
paint,
it
and then
was.
it took us years to find a painter. Not only did we get it painted, we got all new blinds for the building for the same price that was appropriated years prior to that. It was a good, we had a good deal on that one. But that's all that's done. Yeah.
If there's nothing else, we'll move on to the marina. All right.
I'm here again, not gonna talk about any cleaning. The harbor master is here, marina manager is here as well. We'll start right with, line 79. 79 to 82, it should be the last 4 pages of your binder. Reduction in the wage amount, there's a few things that happened there. So the stipend for the harbor master and the deputy harbor master came out of the marina and was put in the waterfront. If we didn't own a marina, that's where it would come from, and that's where it used to come from, and that's specifically where it should be. So that's a part of the decrease there. And also the current arrangement allows for the marina assistant to work 880 hours. That used to be budgeted for slightly over 1,200 hours. She has a full-time job during the school year, so she's not there at the beginning or the end, except she does work weekends for us. So that way the harbor master isn't there 7 days a week. So it's not that we've cut her hours because we don't like her work. She actually does a tremendous job. It's just that her schedule doesn't allow for her to be there more than that. So to get us more in line and to trim what we weren't using, that's what's going on there. The marina laborer does a fantastic job. He helps our harbor master, marina manager in getting the docks into the water, getting everything set up with the water and electricity. And yesterday and today they were putting plates on, they were drilling holes in the steel. So we're well staffed over there. Extra and overtime, we've been budgeting 500. As you can see, we are not hitting that number. And again, some of that back in '24 is due to the fact of what happened where our deputy harbor master at the time passed away and our harbor master had missed some time. So Jess was working a lot and is needed. It's more than just the marina, right, that we have to take care of down there. So dues and travels, there's a reduction in that because we won't have to travel to Castine for harbor master training. Speaking of that, that's why the training line came down by 50% as well. Employee benefits, I'm gonna take that one on because I was miscalculating that. I was aiming high, and there was things that I was calculating that didn't need to be calculated. So the 7,700 is a more realistic number, as you can see in 2024's actual. We're keeping the office supplies to 31 line, keeping that flat. Software support. The initial request was to get a software called DocWa. DocWa would help us in the future with marina reservations, for the new town dock for reservations. People can make it online right through DocWa, and it's seamless. It's a good software to have out there because people from all over can use that, and DocWa would make the reservation for us. They'd come in. So we realized that we don't have the new town dock this year. The harbor master marina manager has a wait list and we're full, so we'd like to revisit it at another time. We realize that this year is not that time. Postage and shipping, the harbor master sends out bills early, so that way we can start to get some revenue in this year and it doesn't roll into the next year, to give the council a more accurate looking of what the actual income and expenses are. Because remember, the marina's open a different time than our fiscal year, so when monies were coming in later after the June 30th, it kind of like, why are you making so much this year and not so much? This is a more accurate, and this was the marina manager's thought, and I agree. I think it was a great thought to do that. So But the postage and shipping we're noticing isn't really that much. Printing, he doesn't really print anything up here, so, but we still kept that line in there in case we need to. He has his own printer down there. Advertising, we're keeping flat. We usually get that right about at that $1,000 mark because we put it into the boat magazines. Copying's coming down as well because, again, Mike had his printer also does copying, so, but we still kept the line item in there in case something were to happen and we needed to print up here. Dockside sales have been reduced. We were aiming high, like to get a lot of book sales. We've actually ended our work with Kellogg, and the harbor master marine manager was actually able to work out a fantastic deal for the town working with a local Hamlin's Marine. So unfortunately, we haven't hit that 5,000 number, and I don't think we would hit the 9,000 this year. We're going to build up, and this relationship with Hamlin Marine should get us there. So we've dropped that down to 3,000, which is a more realistic number. The cost of gasoline and diesel, we aim high on consumption and how much we'd have to purchase because of that consumption. And, we're not weather people. If it's crappy weather out, they ain't taking their boats out. So we were a little bit more realistic and just dropped the amount of gallons that we thought.
Just one note on all of these cost of sales. If for some reason people want to buy $1 gazillion worth of things from the marina, they can still do that. The marina can still get it for them, and the offsetting revenue will offset that additional cost for it. This is a rough idea based on prior years, but if gas or diesel or anything, if we sell more, we have the ability to do that. We have the ability to get the product, and the corresponding revenue will offset that. So if at the end of the year you see some whacked number, you'll see an equally whacked number on the revenue side of the budget as an offset. These are money goes out, money come in back in directly from these three items. But in the spirit of budget is close to what you've actually been spending, that's why the numbers look like they do at the moment. I just didn't want you to think that our marina manager is not limited in how much he can sell or get for people to buy.
Thank you, yes. And the revenue that comes up from all those items is more than the expenses. There's markup on everything, so. And then ICE, we never had a solid line for ICE. That used to come out of dockside sales, so ICE has its own line, because it has its own revenue line, and the team thought it was a good idea to have that there. So, small equipment purchase, we're gonna hold the line there. The equipment rental, that is essentially the crane, the marina's share of the crane. Equipment maintenance and repair, we don't have very much equipment to speak of because, as you can see, for the maintenance and repair lines, there's building, there's float, and then there's boat operation. The marina manager and the marina laborer work on the boat in the off season and make sure that that's up and running. We got a new motor, gosh, I can't remember, maybe 3 years ago. So the maintenance they do on the boat in the off season prevents us from having to do major maintenance throughout the year. So it's a benefit of having that. The building maintenance and repair, we've done a lot of maintenance to that building. There's still more that needs to be done. We realize that this upcoming year isn't necessarily the year to do it. So really the clapboards, about 6 or 7 years ago, when I first started down at the marina, Bill and Mike and Andy Allen, who had worked down there, they took care of those, but they're coming up due for needing to be redone again. We come down to the float maintenance. Really, at this point, now that they're all new, it's what could go wrong. So unfortunately, when we took some of the floats out and stacked the other floats on top, the cleats broke. So cleats not only are hard to get, they're also expensive. If water lines go, we also need to replace those, any of the boards, and that's all done in-house. So that's why there's still a line in there. But it's a massive cut from what we have been doing because they're all new. There's no float there that's older than 5 years now. And that's why the project float replacement line is down to 0. Telephone, we worked a fantastic deal. So we're able to cut that down. Internet service. We're asking for 1 more year of this. We spent a lot of money out of reserves we spent a lot of money out of the marina last year. I believe it was equipment or building maintenance or one of the lines last year in order to upgrade the internet service, because the internet is provided as part of the package of staying at the marina. We're still struggling to get good signals. The IT is very receptive. They've come up with all the creative ideas. You're dealing with water, you're dealing with high tide, you're dealing with low tide, you're dealing with everybody and their brother being on more than one piece of equipment. It's something that we will look to revisit if it's still not working. But we just raised the prices on the Marina Guest, and it's my opinion that it's not this year's time to, hey, we're jacking your prices and taking your internet away from you. Most people have hotspots. So when that comes up for conversation, that's what we're looking at there. Credit card fees. Every time the card swipes, we do have to pay that charge there. Thought is it's coming down because we do have more people paying with checks. Electricity, and I mentioned earlier that some of the electric has come out of the marina and it's part of the town dock, but electric cost is still so high. We're not realizing savings. We run the heat pump throughout the course of the year to keep the building from freezing. We have the guest, and I don't think they use very much electricity down there. I would say it's mostly coming from the building. We have a refrigerator, we have a freezer. The freezer keeps the ice cold. Heat pumps and the bathroom.
I have just a general question while we're about electricity and heat pumps. We put all the solar panels on Highway barn, but we've also been doing a lot of heat pumps in different buildings. Is there any kind of a general, is the number going down because of?
The solar panels on the town garage serve 8 accounts.
Yep.
And that's town garage, the town office, one of the marina accounts, the walkway lights, Sprig dock,
Streetlights?
Pump station 3. And concessions, I think that's it. And it's a cascading usage, it starts with Public Works as an offset and then goes
But
to
has
the
it
town
been trending
office.
down, or is it just the fact the rates are going up, wiping out our?
Well, rates are going up, but
Yeah.
the town pays a lower fee for electricity generated through the solar panels to Revision than we would be paying to Central Maine. So
Okay.
the installation of more efficient electrical stuff brings that down.
Water is gonna come down. The town dock water is actually coming from the marina. It was rerouted because it used to be a line that used to be a hazard because it used to go across the walkway. So it actually comes out of the marina and it should rightfully be charged to the town dock. So that's why that line was able to come down quite a bit. Insurances, 500 is a more realistic number. I know in 24 we were a little bit high there, but I think there was, you'll see there's a credit, we paid something twice, so. Contracted services, that's our diver. They come in twice a year, but there's always the possibility of another microburst or chains, and so that's a fixed cost. Miscellaneous, we haven't really even gone over $1,000 since I've been down here. I know in the past I used to use it to try to have some entertainment from the marina as also another entity that would bring stuff to the community. But we just haven't done it. And then the last one is your licensing and permitting, and as you can see on page 82, that's really a submerged land lease, and there's one other, I think it's a biennial, that we have to pay. So overall, the marina budget is coming down 22.78%. I will now yield any questions if you have any.
That's $51,037 and change, is what you cut out of that.
That is, and realistically, we understand that the marina, just like the town dock, that we've got to pull our share as well, and the staff works hard, the staff helps over at the town dock as well. The staff is a bunch of team players, and would we like to have had Dockwah this year? Yes. Is it essential to have it this year? No. We can look at it next year if things change, once that new dock comes in, because I did have conversation with Washington DC yesterday, so things are looking like we're headed in the right direction to still be on track for the 2026 dock.
The other thing they just want to note is the actual expenditure under 24 and the current year expenditure under 25 won't get you, nothing's been impacted in the ability of the marina to do the things that it's been doing pretty consistently for the past couple of years. It was the same thing that we did to public safety and the fire department in budgeting for the 75% usage of per diems rather than the 100% number that was in there, because we weren't spending that money and it was being raised, and your direction was to, I can hear former Councillor Stewart saying on more than one occasion, that the line item is inflated. You're how many of you, rest of you remember those days, but
Yes.
those are, the question was to bring the budget more in line with what you're actually spending, not to change the mission of any of the departments.
And we should expect the revenue line to,
Offset.
if not plus, or should we expect it to just simply offset?
I can give you some feedback on that.
Okay.
I've done the billing for this year. We are 100% rented, every slip, and I billed out $98,000. And so you see the labor line is 8. So, I mean, the gas, the diesel, as Sue said, everything that we spend money on like that, we always make money on, no matter what, except for what's in the end of the tank at the end of the year, but that will be sold in the beginning of the next year. So generally we don't make any less than 50 cents a gallon on anything we sell on that. And quite often I make a little more because I let it ride when the prices change a little bit. So, and that makes us a little more. All the store stuff that's bought, I made a pretty good deal with Hamilton's, so they're gonna give us kind of the same deal we had with Kellogg's, although we don't have a minimum of 10,000 we have to buy every year. And they will have a truck deliver, so we don't have to go get it. So they really bent over to help us, so. I think we're doing pretty well, so I'm I want the town dock back though someday.
It's a great facility, and the investment that the town made in redoing all of the floats has really.
That's where the money was spent.
That's where the money was spent, but the town committed to do that.
Right, and that should be good for 15 or 20 years.
That's what I was just gonna say, is that if we're going to be charging more competitive rates for what the facility is, the facility has to be in a state that has that same comparability, and with all those new things, that it's a completely different.
The floats that we built this year are much better than what we used to have, even because the old ones are old. These are 6 foot wide slips instead of 4 foot wide. So when you're out at the end of a 40 foot, 4 foot wide slip, it's a little bumpy, and these aren't. They're stable as can be. So the people really like them. We put the new ones in on C-Dock last year, and now we have all the new ones for B-Dock. And just hopefully everything will fit together right. We just finished making the 2 steel flaps that connect the this up to the main docks, and we finished building them out to my shop, and we just installed them today. They're all painted, they're epoxy painted, they look pretty good, so. I think we're doing good, so, and I think our future, if we get that town dock built, is gonna look really well, so.
Congratulations on your new grandson, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. My name finally lives on.
I've never seen a child with so much hair.
I was shocked. I said, how did you get so much hair?
Where's your baby picture? You might have had hair. A lot of.
I don't have too many newborn baby pictures because I was adopted, so nobody bothered to take a picture of me.
Thank you. Oh, good discussion, folks. And some. Anything, final questions, comments?
I would like to add a couple of comments that, I mean, maybe it's the presentation in the book that we got, but the amount of percentages that have been cut this year seem like they're far more drastic than the last couple of years. I'd have to look at the other presentation from the last couple of years and compare, but I really think that the town employees have done a really good job being very analytical with it, and I think that the town of Bucksport's blessed to have you all do what you do, and I'm thankful for you, so, thanks.
I'll second that. I never get to do that anymore, so I'll second that. Yes. Yep.
Just wish we had waxed floors.
Oh, wait a minute, one more thing.
Look what you did.
All the people that rent the marina use the marina bathroom and showers, and we do our own cleaning.
Yeah, I noticed that wasn't on
You're gonna come
the cleaning for the marina.
Public safety building.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I can't bring.
So with that, as many numbers have been cut, you can't cut your way to prosperity. And as we look at this, there may come a day that we can free Rich up to get us an income again. So just some food for thought.
Yeah.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Make motion to adjourn.
Second. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you, everyone. No, no.
So out of
Before
line.
everybody leaves, listen, I did not mean to be out of line.